Obsession is way darker than you think. I think Obsession is the recency bias definitely included, but I think Obsession is the best horror movie that I have ever seen. I think it wasn't cheap scares. And I too used the term scary in a different video, and a lot of people got mad because they were like, well, horror films don't have to be scary. And I'm like, well, I use scary and horror interchangeably. I know the definitions are different, but it's like this movie brought a level of discomfort that I had never experienced watching a movie before. Not to the level of like gore or grossness that Terrifier has, just pure like stress. This was the most stressful movie I think I've ever watched. The entire film, I was watching it like this in the movie theater because it's that disturbing in general. I'll turn it on. I'm gonna pause a lot to talk about specific scenes and just what I think about the movie in general. I hope Curry Barker is a director in 85 movies in the upcoming years because, my God, this was a great movie. And I think the actors were great, too. Is it gory? I wouldn't say that this movie's that gory outside of, spoiler alert, this whole thing's going to be a spoiler alert. Outside of the one scene where he's talking to Sarah in the car, in the whole scene, chat, the way they're angling it, you could tell that Nikki's just going to fucking run through the window and start smashing his head in. And that was the goriest scene. That was like Terrifier level gore, smushed her face into a million pieces into a steering wheel. That was horrible. I didn't breathe. To put it in perspective, the reason I say Obsession's one of the scariest films I've seen isn't because of jump scares. It's just the pure horror aspect left me feeling so uneasy that I think I was genuinely breathing once every 30 seconds.
Brand new horror movie. In this video, we will be diving straight into its deeper themes.
And I love the simpleness of the idea of the wish, right? And the one wish Willow in the senses of like, you have to word it perfectly, otherwise you get fucked over.
And symbolism. There will be spoilers. Let us begin. The premise is so simple, but what emerges from it is one of the deepest descents into darkness that I have ever witnessed on a cinema screen. Baron, or Bear as he's known, fancies Nikki.
He is the villain. He is the villain. We were talking about it, and I was like, well, he's just an idiot. And then I was thinking back on it, and I'm like, there's multiple instances where he could have fixed it and just didn't. And it's like the wish in premise is already fucked up. But like he could have just been like, I wish I had the confidence to ask Nikki out. But his dumbass goes, I wish Nikki loved me more than anything in the world. What a dork. And then while she's asleep, she's like fighting the demon and she's like aware and she's like, kill me. And then he just doesn't.
And he gets an opportunity to ask her out. His friend.
And it's also like, I know they needed this, so I'm not complaining about the movie. I think the movie, I have literally zero complaints about the film. I'm complaining that Bear is such a dork that he couldn't fucking come up with a better idea than he went to his friend and he goes, so let me give you the premise. Let me give you the rundown of the film. If you haven't seen the movie, but you don't care about spoilers. There's a character named Bear that moves to this city. One of his best friends is named Nikki. He really likes this girl named Nikki. He's liked this girl Nikki for a while, and he doesn't know how to tell her. And she ends up him, Sarah, Nikki. There's 2 girls and 2 guys. Bear and what's the other guy's name? It's Nikki and Sarah, and Bear and Ian. And all 4 of them work at the same, like, record shop. And they're all friends. They hang out. They go to the bar together. Nikki's quitting at this job. So Bear's going, I need to ask her out. And she ends up having her crystal earrings fucking fall down a drain or some shit. She loses them. So he goes to like this, you know, like a spiritual store that sells like jewelry and other items and candles and incense. And he wants to buy her something nice. And he ends up finding this one wish Willow that he plans on giving to her because he knows that she wants to be a writer. He doesn't think anything of it. They don't live in a supernatural world. This is just like wishful thinking, one wish Willow, you snap it and you think it'll, you know, come true. He's just being nice. So he drops her off and he plans on asking her out. And instead of asking her out, he folds like a chud. And she even says, if you like me, now's your time to tell me. And he says he doesn't like her like a fucking dork. Forgets to give her the willow. And then he ends up just snapping it and wishing for her to love her or love him more than anybody else in that moment. She ends up walking away. He, like, right after he snaps it, she, like, is standing on her porch watching him and is immediately obsessed with him. Goes over his house that night. ends up like sleeping with him. She watches him sleep, which is really weird. So things already in the first day take a dark turn, right? They are sleeping in the same room. He wakes up in bed and she's like in the corner watching him sleep and is like she has like an uncanny look on her face. She's crying. It's really creepy. Also, his cat just died. The next day he wakes up and she made like a weird vigil in his kitchen of the dead cat on the ground with candles. And so she dug the cat out of the trash, which was weird that he put it in the trash. I don't know why he didn't bury his fucking cat. Can I say that? That was a side thing of like, Bear's a fucking weirdo. You're so sad about your cat being dead. Imagine throwing it in the trash. Like my dog dies and I just chuck it in the garbage. Like what the fuck? Like bury it. You know, get it cremated. What the fuck? Like just a weird way. Like he puts it in a trash bag. So she makes this vigil for him and it's like really creepy. And he's like, Bear goes, Nikki, you can't do that. Already I'm going, this motherfucker's not realizing this girl's a psychopath because of his wish. So it takes him a while to understand. And she ends up like she doesn't have work that day. It's like her last week. She like put in 2 weeks. Or they go to work together that day actually. And she's like really in love with him, just watching him all day. And Ian's like, what the fuck, man? Like, she wasn't into you a day ago. He's like, I don't know, man. She just loves me now. It's like, I guess I did the fucking right thing. And Ian's like, you're taking advantage of her. She's like clearly going through like a drug problem or something. Because it's like, this woman didn't love you like that. And he just doesn't give a fuck. They end up like fucking. And it's like the weirdest sex scene you've ever seen in your entire life. No emotion. She's just making the noises. And you could tell that she's like possessed. So really creepy. I think that's the night where she actually watches him sleep. And then he tries to go to work the next day and she's like crying and smiling and crying and smiling. Just like a really emotional person, like to a point where it's like abnormal. Like she gets angry, then sad, then happy, then loving, all in the span of like 30 seconds. And then she's like, well, you don't have to go to work. He's like, I have to. He turns around. The whole door is duct taped shut with like 9 rolls of duct tape. Like she tried to blockade him in and he's like trying to open the door and it's really funny, like comedic relief. He's like struggling to open the door and she's like, oh, well, you don't have to leave if the door won't open. He's like, no, I got it. And like rips it open. I'll rant more about the story as we go on, but that's like the base premise. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Should I just do a summary of the whole movie or before we start or no? We'll do more as we go.
Ian is egging him on. Even Nikki.
Oh, yes? Okay. So this will be Joe Bart telling the story. As he goes to work after she duct tapes the door shut, she stands in place the entire time she's gone and pisses and shits all over herself. She vomits all over herself. She's covered in like a weird goop and she doesn't move for like 9 hours. He comes back and there's actual feces on the floor and she's like, oh, you're here. And he's like, ew, what the fuck? And she's like, oh, don't worry, I'll clean it. He wants to go over Ian's house that night, but Ian's like, Nikki's clearly obsessed with you. Nikki can't come. So he says that like he's gonna go. She gets excited. She starts showering and then randomly he's like, oh, well, it's like a guy's night. And she goes in the shower like violently. And it's like, oh, fuck. You're sitting there going, oh, my God. Like, this girl's crazy. So she ends up going to the party, and they're playing Jenga. But it's a version of Jenga. You might have played it at a party or not. It's like Jenga, but there's, like, dares on the blocks. So as you pull a block, you read it, and you have to do whatever it is. And they're going around, and Sarah has a crush on Bear. Bear knows this, but Bear, for some dork-ass reasons, obsessed with Nikki. Sarah's a beautiful girl. She's very nice. She likes Bear. Bear doesn't like her. I'm Bear. Sarah's here. Sarah pulls a block, and it says, or does Bear pull the block? Bear pulls a block, and it says, like, kiss the person to your left, which would be Sarah. And that's where you see this scene of Nikki frowning, where she looks up, and she's like this. She slow walks behind Sarah on a wooden floor, pulls her chair back, like, stands in front of where Sarah was, and then kisses him. Basically says she'll, like, kill anybody that, like, wants to be with him. And everybody's uncomfortable, and then she's like, okay. She was like, I'm joking, and nobody laughs. And then she's like, okay, I'm not joking, for, like, fuck you guys. randomly snaps out of it, right? So, like, real Nikki comes back, starts freaking out, breaks a glass bottle, starts stabbing herself in the eye. Snaps back in, goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then goes to the hospital. Bear brings her back, and he's like, and everybody's like, what the fuck? And through this whole thing, Bear's telling no one any of the weird shit. Bear's like, I don't know, man. She's just going through something. Her dad died. She lied about her dad having cancer or something. And when Bear brought it up, she, in the middle of a restaurant, has a fucking full-on meltdown. Anyways, I'm skipping some things. Fast forward, she packs him lunch one day for work. He goes, he eats it. On a sticky note, it's like, for my love, Bear, and he wants to be a food critic. On the back of the note, it says, how does cat taste? And Sarah's reading the note, and she's like, what does it mean, how does cat taste? And he's eating his own dead cat that Nikki filleted, cut up, and put into a sandwich. He throws up. It gets to a point where, God, I'm trying to remember, like, what else happens. She watches him sleep. They end up having a conversation where he's really uncomfortable, and then she does this really backwards walk, like uncanny shit. He says he's going to go out and, like, give her time and space, and she basically threatens to kill herself like a psychopath, which is weird that actually happens in real life. And it's not Nikki's fault in the movie because Nikki's obviously possessed, but it's like there are people that do that. It's like every toxic relationship times 5,000 to, like, the worst possible capability it has. Oh, she also snaps out of it while they're making out one time. And then he just, like, doesn't care, which is really weird. He ends up realizing it has to do with the wish. He calls the One Wish Willow hotline, in which the guy goes, you can't undo a wish. And he goes, like, well, can I get another one? And he goes, well, you get one. And so Bear goes, well, what do I do? And the guy goes, well, you could kill yourself. And he's like, what? And he's like, oh, well, the wish only lasts till you die. So then Bear's like, well, I don't want to kill myself. So he, like, just keeps trying to be, he's basically like, Nikki, if you love me, you got to be normal. And she's like, okay. She'll have, like, a bout of being normal and then immediately be weird again. And he ends up going to Ian. Well, Sarah ends up telling him that Ian's been fucking Nikki and didn't tell him. And Sarah's like, I know Nikki's not in love with you because Nikki's been sleeping with Ian. So what the fuck's happening? And Bear's like, well, oh, like, I didn't know that. He ends up sitting in a car with Sarah. He ends up finding out, like, Sarah likes him and they were going to kiss. And as they're about to kiss, Nikki runs through the windshield, smashes Nikki's head in, kills her, and then wraps around the back. And she's like, well, Bear, you did this. This is your fault. And then they hide the body. So they get rid of a body. They murder someone. They hide the body. Then, bro, you're saying spoilers. The whole movie's a spoiler, dork. They hide the body, and then Bear finally has the bright idea of going back to the store and getting another One Wish Willow and trying to get his friend to undo the wish by using their wish. So he goes to Ian, this guy, and he goes, you're not going to believe me. Nikki's possessed. I asked her for love me more than world, blah, blah, blah. You need to undo this wish. This is what you need to say. Ian goes, bullshit. I wish for $1 billion. Snaps it. $1 billion falls from the sky. Ian goes, fuck. And Bear goes, fuck. Bear's next bright idea is to buy another One Wish Willow and bring it to Nikki and say, Nikki, wish that you never loved me. Go to a homeless person, give him $20 and go say this and snap the stick. Are you a fucking idiot? I'm going to buy 100 of those One Wish Willows. I'm walking on the side of the road and I'm saying, say this, snap it, and I'll give you $20. And a homeless guy's doing it. You're a jack off. You know, you're a jerk off. You're an idiot, right? Why did he not do that? So he ends up going back to the house, tries to get her to do it. She has a fucking revolver she got somehow. She's covered in blood. And she's like, you're going to shove this revolver up my vagina. And he's like, whoa. Ian comes in the door and goes, dude, it's $1 billion. It's real. Bang! She kills him. So now both of his friends are dead. And she, like, lays on him crying. And he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom and freshen up. She tries breaking in. And then Bear has the gun. He is going to shoot himself, chickens out, ends up swallowing a bunch of pills. And as he's about to, he swallows a bunch of pills so he ODs. And he tries to gag himself to throw him up because he chickens out. But as he chickens out, you hear the One Wish Willow snap, and then he goes, and Nikki wished for him to love her more than anything in the world, so he doesn't throw up the pills. He goes, they make out, they're all demonically in love with each other, and then he ODs, as he would, because he took fucking 40 pills, and dies. And right before he, like, fully dies and his heart stops, Nikki has a gun in her mouth, and she's about to fucking kill herself, and then snaps out of it because he's dead. And then she just screams and the movie ends. Did I miss anything?
He herself is nudging him to
I don't know. Now let's watch an analysis and we'll get more in depth.
ask the question.
Nikki, wait. I was gonna ask you,
What?
I lost my train of thought. Back in that, what else?
Oh, he's such a loser, man. It's just like, it pisses you. The whole time it pisses you off. You're like, just fucking say something. Oh, just say something.
Hey.
But he finds himself unable to ask, cursing himself as Nikki walks away from his car.
The incest poem? Oh, when they were at the party, Nikki pulled a block and then read a really weird poem about, like, if you don't fuck me, I'll cut your dick off and shove it inside me. And then she was like, only a love, a branch from a willow tree could conjure or some shit. Yeah, it was really weird.
And towards her house, he takes out his
Yeah, in front of everyone, she reads a poem basically being like, you're gonna fuck me tonight. Like,
One Wish Willow, a novelty toy that he bought at an occultic store. And that's when he makes his one wish.
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
like, why would you say it? Why would you word it like that? Like, if I had that and I had a crush on that girl, I'd be like, I wish me and Nikki were dating. It's not like you could wish that. You'd be like, oh, I wish I had the confidence to ask her out. Boom. I wish she found me attractive. Like, boom. And then you work off that. Like,
And then he snaps the stick. Well, it's a classic case of be careful what you wish for, because this ritual is devastatingly effective. Or is it? We'll get to that. It seems to possess Nikki's body with a spirit, or a doppelganger, with an insatiable desire to be united to bear. And the torment that this brings about actually expresses something of the biblical understanding of judgment. You see it in Romans 1. God's judgment on humanity, in our fallenness, in our rejection of him, is to hand us over to our wicked desires. It turns out that getting what we want in our fallen state is hellish. Of course, the Bible doesn't end there. There is a light shining in the midst of that darkness. There is a saviour. In the film, what unfolds is incredibly bleak. It's an out-and-out tragedy, but I think it leaves us with a longing for something more.
I love this. I love this movie. Like, it's filmed so well too. Like, down to the camera angles, man. Like, this scene where Sarah and Bear are talking, and it's not panning, like, if you're the car, it's not panning like this. It's going, so it's catching their perspectives. There's two cameras, and it's like, as they talk, it pans, and you just see, like, the window, and you know something's gonna happen. Like, I remember I leaned over, and I'm like, one of these motherfuckers is gonna die right now. Like, somebody's gonna come crash the party.
The occultic store where Bear purchases the One Wish Willow is called the Green Man. In modern New Age circles, the Green Man has become regarded as a pagan fertility symbol. But actually, going further back in time, the Green Man has been a prominent symbol in Christian art and architecture. In the medieval collection of tales, The Legend of the Rood, there is an intriguing story of Seth burying his father Adam, the first human being. According to the story, while Adam was dying, Seth placed 3 seeds under his tongue. These sprouted and grew into a tree, nourished by Adam's decaying corpse, and the wood from that tree was used to make the cross on which Jesus, known as the second Adam, was crucified. So the Green Man, however it's appropriated nowadays, is a Christ-haunted symbol. The possibility of curse being lifted, of life coming from death, hangs in the air for much of the movie, and we as an audience, as we continue this blistering descent into darkness, our yearning for resolution alongside the characters grows ever stronger. Anyway.
The best thing that I saw somebody come up wish-wise, like monetarily, isn't wishing for $1 billion. It was somebody saying, I wish for a credit card that has no limit, Only I could use it. I can never lose it. And I can buy anything I ever want with it. I could pay anything I want with it. So it's like you basically phrase it to where it's like, I don't have money, but I have the capability to buy anything I want without fucking up the economy. Like, you don't have to manage money. You don't have to do anything. You just have a card that's like associated with your being that you could just buy anything with.
Bear visits this shop, the Green Man store, rather
Isn't that more than one wish? No, not if you word it in the right way.
aimlessly. At first he's looking for some crystals which might help to provide good vibes with Nikki. But then he happens to notice something else, a box of One Wish Willows. And he buys one on a whim. There's this writing on the box. The front says, "One Wish Willow, amaze your friends. You only get one wish." And the back says, "Spark the middle and break in half. Usage, open the package to a magical jingle and a fun pop surprise. Hold the One Wish Willow gently, break it in half and state your wish clearly. Wait up to 24 hours for your wish to come true. Disposal. After granting your wish, the One Wish Willow loses its magical properties." Now that's fascinating. The text implies that you should state your wish before breaking the stick in.
How are you going to pay off a credit card? It has unlimited money. I wish I have a card that has unlimited money. It'd just be like a card that gets you anything for free.
Half. But Bear states his wish and then breaks the stick. It's a subtle detail, and I'm not saying that everything would have panned out okay if Bear had only followed the exact order on the box. But it's notable nonetheless. On the right-hand side of the box,
Oh, you break it, then say your wish.
so we can just about see that the company is called Tabby Cat Curiosities. That, of course, has personal resonance for Bear because the film begins with his cat Sandy dying after getting into a bottle of oxycodone, a highly addictive painkiller. There's even a website listed above the logo, www.tabbycatcuriosities.com. I tried going to the website, by the way, but it didn't work. And beneath the logo, the box says, "Contact us if you have any problems or questions with your One Wish Willow products. Please contact our customer service number at 1-323-747-7118. We're here to help." Shall we see what happens if we actually call that phone number? I haven't tried this.
I feel like it's going to go to nothing.
It's ringing.
Why does he have a flip phone?
Hey, you've reached the One Wish Willow hotline.
No way.
Unfortunately, we're not liable for any unintended things that might have happened to you or your loved ones. That includes property damages, psychological distress, emotional trauma, extreme personality changes, deeply special displays of love, bodily harm, death, or anything resembling possession and stuff like that. It's all there in the fine print, but maybe you didn't read it. Most people don't. If you need further assistance, well, I hope you can find it because there's not much I can really do. Good luck.
Oh my goodness, it works. That is a phenomenal bit of marketing. I imagine it just goes through to
Yeah, and very few people catch that, dude. Like, even in a movie theater, it's hard to read that specific number.
the answer phone every time you call it. But still, on the subject
I'm not calling it.
to the phone number, I might be wrong about this. I need to check when the film comes out on streaming. But when Bear rings the helpline, I'm almost certain that he dials a different number to the one that's on the back of the box. If I remember rightly, he actually dials something like 10234567. I might be wrong about that, but I was watching the cinema screen quite carefully, and
I'm not calling it.
that's what my brain took in. If it turns out to be wrong, obviously disregard this section of the video, but if I'm right, that would be another intriguing departure from what's written on the box, contributing to this sense that we as an audience can't be entirely sure of what we're seeing. The box is naive and playful in its packaging. The reality is much worse. On the subject of consecutive numbers, it's notable that when Bear wakes up in the middle of the night, and Nikki starts acting really creepily, the time he wakes up is 3:45 a.m. Many have noticed.
Isn't that like the ghost hour, or like when everything becomes like, don't they always say, I don't know if it's like folklore or movies or what, but people always say like the waking hour for ghosts is like between 3 and 4 in the morning.
That this time might be a reference to the witching hour.
Yeah.
Some Christian traditions have regarded 3 a.m. as the devil's hour because it's an inversion of 3 p.m., which is traditionally believed to be the time that Christ died on the cross. So the film might be picking up on some of those things. On this channel, I discuss film from a theological perspective because I genuinely believe that the Bible describes reality and helps to unveil layers of meaning in these movies, whether that's intentional on the part of the filmmakers or not. I often get comments saying things like, "I'm not a Christian."
What is this? Is this an ad? Urgh.
It's not made explicit, but I think there are multiple signs that Nikki is demonically possessed in this movie. Whatever it is, it functions in that manner. Immediately after Bear makes...
I don't know. Like, initially, I didn't think she was demonically... Okay, no, I did. Because very soon into him making the wish, or very soon after him making the wish, she has, like, multiple moments where she snaps out, screams, freaks out, and then snaps back in. So it's like, even if it's not a demon possessing her, there's clearly something that's like skewing her capability to individually want these things to happen. Like, she's not under control of her love for him, right? Which I don't think he wanted when he asked that, but it's like, dude.
The wish, Nikki starts acting very strangely. Her obsession with Bear quickly becomes otherworldly. She moves in with him, she makes a bizarre indoor memorial for his dead cat, she watches him sleep, she gaffer tapes his front door to make it hard.
That shit was crazy. Dude, that's like 9 fucking rolls of tape. When they turned and I saw that, that's when the woman next to me, I said this, I didn't spoil it at the time, but after I watched the movie, I came back on stream, bro, the woman next to me went, "Oh, fuck no," out loud. And I died laughing. It was like the funniest side commentary. Like, you just sitting there, just a random person, just hearing their reaction to that.
His front door to make it harder for him to leave. And when he prizes that door open, she just stands there waiting for him to return.
Oh my God, she poops. Oh my God, it was disgusting. Like feces on the ground, pissing, shitting all over herself.
So creepy, that building sense of dread as Bear does his day of work, and then how will he find her when he returns home? Will she have changed even more? While he's at work, he opens the packed lunch that Nikki has made for him, and inside are 2 Polaroid photos. The top one is a photo of Bear with...
Oh my God, and the other one, dude, it's just him sleeping, and she's like fucking taking a picture of it.
A heart, and the caption, "You." The second photo depicts both of them lying next to each other, and the caption chillingly says, "Not me." And that's a sign that the real Nikki is trying to signal to Bear. The Nikki who is obsessing over him is not the real Nikki. The real Nikki is trapped somewhere within. The sandwiches...
I think the biggest turning point that fully submitted Bear as like a horrible person is when she was like, "Kill me," in her sleep, and then he just didn't do anything. I'm not saying he needed to kill himself. I'm not saying he needed to kill her, but he just kept trying to band-aid it, where he was like, "Oh, you know, you just have to be normal." It's like, bro, clearly she's possessed. Like, I don't think I would have killed myself, but I think I immediately, after she fucking pissed and shit all over the ground and put a sigil of the cat, I immediately would have gone to the store and started asking people to make the wish to reverse it. Like, I would have tried to, like, stop then.
In the lunchbox are filled with the meat of Bear's deceased cat.
He did say, "What's so bad about being with me?" Yeah.
Grim. Is that the sort of thing that a person who genuinely loves Bear would do? No. It's bizarre. It's disturbing. It's a form of torment. I think throughout this film we are seeing a demon's torment.
Bro, and the shittiest part is when you think, like, the movie ends and you're like, "Oh, fuck, Nikki snapped back into it." Bro, Nikki now is going to go to jail for the rest of her life because nobody's going to believe that the One Wish Willow is real. And she already used her One Wish Willow, so she can't get out of this, right? She can't go to the store, buy One Wish Willow, and get out. She's going to be charged with triple homicide. She's going to be charged with killing 3 people. Like...
It's masquerading as being in love with Bear. The demon can keep up the act to some degree, but the mask slips quite catastrophically in a lot of places.
Does your dad really have cancer?
No. 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 No.
What?
No. 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 Don't do that!
Bear is beginning to panic, so he...
Yo, that scene was fun. Yo, I don't think that's my favorite scene, but that's like, oh my God, in the middle of the restaurant, everybody turning. Holy shit, the pure panic you would have.
He calls the helpline on
Because it's not like scary. It's like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing you could do at a restaurant.
the back of the box. And like the staff that we encounter at the Green Man's store,
Just
the
like a child meltdown.
person on the other end of the line is worryingly laid back. He sounds bored.
What's up?
I was calling to see if there's a way I can alter a wish.
Like to cancel your wish?
No. It's okay to keep the. I just want to know if I can.
Ah, see right there. Right there. Right there, bro. Yes. What? He got that, bro. You ask for a girl to fall in love with you. She stands in place for 9 hours, duct tapes your door shut, and poops all over herself. And you're like, nah, I could fix this. Whoa.
Like, alter it a little.
I'm sorry, we don't really do that.
No?
If you have any questions about how the wish...
Why would you not cancel it? Well, he can't cancel it. I'm saying he just didn't say. He should have said, yeah, I want to cancel it. Either way, later on in the conversation, he goes, well, the only way you solve this is if you kill yourself.
Works, if you read the back of the box.
Is it even real?
Yeah, it's real.
No, I know that is her love real?
Oh my God, he goes, do you want to talk to her? Oh my God, I forgot about that. He goes, do you want to talk to her? And he puts her on the phone. Well, he doesn't put her on the phone. He just like lets him hear what's happening inside the house. And inside the house, she's just screaming for like 8 hours straight. Screaming.
Just because you chose this for her doesn't make it less real.
Oh, that is a chilling line, isn't it? And Bear will come to see that it's a lie. The obsessive love for him that is being expressed through Nikki's body is not genuine, it's demonic. And therefore it's not love, it's a fleshly, all-consuming addiction. That's what Bear has unleashed. It's also on this phone call that Bear learns how he can break the curse.
So she's just stuck like this forever?
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you live.
As long as I live?
And then something even more disturbing happens. The man on the other end of the line offers Bear an opportunity to speak to Nikki. We hear her anguished screams over the phone line. Is that the real Nikki?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking that when he put Nikki on the phone, it was just actual Nikki's like body talking. I didn't think it was like, oh, her trapped in her own brain. It's real Nikki.
The one who has been imprisoned and suppressed by Bear's wish. Perhaps. At Ian's house party, Nikki silences everyone through a dark, incestuous retelling of Hansel and Gretel. So it's really weird. It's about Gretel seducing Hansel, basically. Again, it's so carnal. It's pure, self-centered obsession, not self-giving love. And it ends with Gretel saying, Hansel is my soul, a love that only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
And that line is
Yo, and after all, that's what I also can't believe. Like the friends saw Nikki have that meltdown, stab herself in the eye with a glass bottle, and then like next day they were just like, yeah, that was weird. I feel like if I was friends with Nikki and Bear, I'd be like, yo, dude, you got to put her in like a 51-50 hold. Like, you like, she needs to be in like a padded room, man. Like, this is not normal. Like, what the fuck?
delivered knowingly
But he doesn't. They just go back to work and they're like, I want to talk to you. Nikki's not for you. Nikki's not sane.
to Bear. I
What?
think the demon knows
I'd be like, bro, she just stabbed herself in the eye. What's a 51-50 hold? Where you're basically forced to like be in a hospital because you're a threat to yourself.
exactly what's going on. It's tormenting the real Nikki, suppressing her, and it's also tormenting Bear. The party ends with Nikki stabbing herself in the face with a broken bottle. Is that the real Nikki, piercing through, desperate for her torment to end? Probably, because later that night, when Bear gets out of bed, Nikki is asleep. And in that state, we seem to get another moment of the real Nikki piercing through. She begs Bear to take her life, to release her from this torment. And this moment reminds me a bit of The Exorcist. When the young possessed girl Regan is asleep, the priests find the words "help me" engraved onto her belly. That sense of the real Regan who has been suppressed by the demon, piercing through, crying out for help. And a key dimension of the film is that the protagonist, Bear, is actually a really horrible character. He says to the real Nikki something like, "It's not so bad being with me, is it?" And then he leaves the room. Part of him wants to keep this going. He doesn't love the obsessive version of Nikki. He's scared of that, obviously. But equally, he doesn't want to listen to the real Nikki. What he really wants is someone in between, which again would be a figment of his imagination, a fantasy. The car scene is truly shocking. Bear and Sarah share a genuine moment of connection. She's this figure who has quietly loved him all this time, and Bear starts to recognize that and possibly even reciprocate it.
Yeah, and that really like annoys me. It like really annoys me because I'm like, bro, if he didn't do the One Wish Willow shit and then went to work for like a week, Sarah probably still would have confessed her attraction to Bear and they would have been dating. Like, and everything would have been fine. Like everything would have been fine. He would have moved on and he would have gone, Nikki's not for me. You know.
But at that moment, the possessed Nikki arrives to smash Sarah's head with a brick. It's deeply...
Oh, it was with a brick? I thought she just smashed her head into a steering wheel like 15 times.
traumatic to watch. But when he gets home, things are truly out of control. The house has been turned into this horrifying shrine. Sarah's corpse has been placed on a chair, and all her clothes have been removed.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Holy shit, I forgot about that. Oh my God, yeah, she stripped her naked, and then she's like just like a mangled corpse, just like butt naked in a fucking chair.
Nikki is now wearing them. That sense of
she wore her hair,
trying to steal the love for Sarah that Bear might have had and claim it for herself. This brings us to the ending. Bear locks himself in the bathroom. He tries to kill himself with a gun, but finds himself unable to do it. So he then reaches for the oxycodone pills, the ones that killed his cat. Is this a redemptive, heroic final act? Is he choosing to sacrifice his life in order to set Nikki free? Well, it seems to me, the way it's framed...
But it's like too little too late. You know, like they've already killed two people, and now he's like, okay, I'm just going to kill myself. I don't think he was killing himself to help her. I think it was like, I have no other option. Like, this is the only thing I can do. I don't think he was doing it for her. I think it was like, oh shit, well, my life's fucked now.
Is that it's actually a total last resort, and it's more about setting himself free. Nikki being set free is a kind of byproduct for him at this point. And one of the reasons I think that is because he does eat the pills, but then he seems to change his mind. He tries to make himself vomit. But before he can, Nikki finds the One Wish Willow and makes a wish, presumably...
And it makes a little sound. It goes like...
that Bear would be as obsessed with her as she is with him. And he emerges from the bathroom. They kiss, but then she realizes that Bear is dying in her arms from the overdose. The possessed Nikki is devastated. Why? Well, I suppose it's kind of obvious she's still living under Bear's wish, and therefore she's still infatuated with him, obsessed with him, devastated to see him dying. But if she is in fact demonically possessed, as I've interpreted throughout this video, I don't think the demon is in love with Bear, and that's why it's sad. I think it's sad because it realizes that it can no longer torment Bear. Now,
it may also know that it will be expelled from Nikki's body once Bear dies. It'll no longer be able to torment her either. I don't know, because it was, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say it doesn't feel like a demon, because part of me just feels like it's like a brain worm that's like attached to like Nikki's consciousness that like forces her to feel these weird bouts of like love and obsession. And then when she snaps out of it, it is her, and she doesn't have that like attachment. But then it's also just like, well, what's making her do this weird shit? Like, because even if you were obsessively in love with someone, you wouldn't be like cooking their cat and feeding it to them. You know, like that's not obsession. That's just like demonic. Like, what is that?
That he's dying.
Like, that side of it makes you think that there is like a demon involved, because it's like, if she was just obsessively in love with him, she wouldn't do that.
So anyway, Bear dies in Nikki's arms, and the possessed Nikki...
Like, I could see obsessed Nikki killing women that are obsessed with Bear, like Sarah, or not obsessed, but in love with Bear. Like, that doesn't confuse me as much as, like, why are you giving, like, you, like, there's no world where, like, somebody that loves Bear that much, even more than anything, would be like, okay, he's gonna want to eat his cat.
He prepares to
It's like psychotic.
take her own life as a result. It's like a perverse retelling of the end of Romeo and Juliet. But at that moment, the curse is lifted. Bear's death ends the effect of his wish. And then...
You know that's not how they originally wanted to end it? There was, like, a few things. I heard, number one, that the movie was supposed to have more gore, and they had a... I don't know if this is true. But I heard this. The other two things I'm going to say are true. I heard that the movie originally was supposed to have more gore, but it was going to be rated NC-17, which means that it's, like, worse than rated R, and then people wouldn't be able to watch it as much, so they had to remove stuff. I heard that the original ending was not supposed to be her surviving. It was supposed to be her killing herself. And they only did one take. The ending is one take. Like, they only filmed that ending once, but they liked it that much that they did it instead. And then what was the other thing? There was something else. I might remember.
The real Nikki finally comes to. So there's a hint of deliverance there. Nikki is released from the curse, but it's definitely not a happy ending. She returns to her body and her life, only to find it in total ruins. Sarah, Ian, and Bear are all dead. This friendship group, utterly ruined by this careless wish. So to return to the title of this video, what is the real horror of obsession? Well, to me it resides in a simple question. Did Bear get his wish?
Well, I think the horror, like the fear factor of the movie, is that it's not... I think any movie where the horror resides in something that is human but off is always more scary. Like, the uncanny is always more unscary, or more scary than something that's like a monster, right? Like a demon or a being that's like haunting you, like the boogeyman, is not nearly as scary as something that's like Nikki, where she's snapping in and out of being like human, and the scene where she's just like uncannily staring at him at night in the corner of the room's terrifying. Where she fucking snaps in and out of it, and she's walking backwards and like poetically talking about how she's gonna kill herself and her blood's gonna go cold if fucking Bear leaves. Like, that stuff, it's like, it's taking like real world relationship obsession and then amplifying it to a level that's like uncannily scary, so it feels more fearful than something that's too outlandish that it's like, okay, this is, you know, it's fucking Edward Scissorhands, you know, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like,
sense, yes, his wish was very clear, that Nikki would love him more than anyone.
It's realistic. Well, I don't want to say realistic, because like One Wish Well doesn't exist, but like the stuff that she does, someone could do, you know? Like, all of the things that she does, somebody could act like that.
Anyone else in the whole wide world.
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
Bear, I love you so much. I don't think I could live without you.
You love me more than anyone in the world?
Yes, more than anyone.
He gets what he wants, and he doesn't like it. But then you could argue that Bear doesn't actually get his wish. Because if, and I think it's a big if what he truly wants is a mutual, meaningful connection with Nikki, that's not what he gets. The possessed Nikki is a counterfeit, a distortion, robbing her.
No, she doesn't love anything about, like, she loves him, but there's no reason, right? Like, if you love somebody, you could be like, I love them because of this, and I've built this love over time. It's just like, it's not love, it's obsession. That's why it's the name of the movie.
Of agents. So the wish comes true from a fleshly perspective. It produces this carnal obsession, the inevitable outworking of a selfish desire that doesn't truly value the other. But the wish doesn't come true from a spiritual perspective. It doesn't satisfy Bear's ultimate thirst for meaning and intimacy, even if he thought and wished that it would. I think this movie has a lot to say about how devastating our modern inability to define love can be. We often deify that notion of finding the ideal romantic partner, the one, where we believe that other people can satisfy our ultimate longings. That has two problems. The first is that we can end up loving someone selfishly and instrumentally. You know, not for their sake, but for what we can get out of them. That's one problem. The second problem is that it places a burden on relationships that they were never designed to carry. If I make another human being into my God, they will disappoint me, and it's very unfair on them. According to Christianity, we can only know what love actually is when we look at God. He's this eternal, loving union of Father, Son, and Spirit. And his love is most clearly revealed when it is poured out in self-sacrifice for us on the cross. True love is self-sacrificial, not self-serving. And that should then flow into our relationships with others. Christians call one another brothers and sisters in Christ. He is the basis for our love, and we are called to invite others into that love. And many Christians get married. But again, that's founded on self-sacrifice rather than selfishness, because in Christianity, marriage is this metaphor for the cosmic union.
I just don't see how this has to do with the movie, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying. I myself am, you know, not religious, but it's just like, I don't think this was thought of when the movie was written.
Between Christ and his bride, the church. I don't know what you make of all that, but I'm sure we can all agree that obsession is an absolutely devastating portrayal of a relationship. And I wish I could say to both Nikki and Bear that they are made for so much more than this, that there is a much greater love. And if Bear knew...
I like I like how he's intertwining it, but it's just like, I don't think that was what the meaning of it was.
That love, he would not have wished for Nikki to be compelled into loving him, because loving her would actually look like honouring her and laying down his life for her. This film really rattled me. I watched it with my friends Ethan and Sonny at the cinema, and we discussed the film at length afterwards.
It was one of the only movies where I left and I thought about it for hours after in years. Like, I remember leaving that movie and I wanted to talk about it to people for like hours. Like, normally I leave a movie, talk about it for 10 minutes, and then I just move on, do something else.
A lot of those thoughts actually made it into this video, so thanks so much, guys. Shout out to you. And here's the Letterboxd review I wrote of the movie.
One of the most terrifying films I've ever seen. I want to recommend it. Don't at the same time. It's a phenomenal feat of horror filmmaking. Just people are genuinely disturbing. Yeah, I would say that, like, if you're not a fan of, like, scary or horror films, this is, like, probably one of the worst movies you could ever see.
That night. 5 stars. One of the most terrifying films I've ever seen. I want to recommend it.
I already read it. All right. Well, that was a fucking good video, dude. I also just love that movie. I'm glad I was able to talk about it.